Sequential Part Delivery. What is it, and how does Insequence provide solutions that cater to even the most complex operations utilizing our standard flagship product, SPD Pro? Welcome to the Insequence SPD Pro sequencing overview. In this video, we will review the basic process of sequential part delivery and then show how the Insequence software drives this process from the moment a broadcast is received until the final materials are shipped. Sequential part delivery is the process of delivering automotive parts to an assembly plant in the exact order or sequence in which the vehicles that need them are being assembled on the production line. At a predetermined point in the automotive assembly process, a broadcast signal is sent from the assembly plant to the supplier, who then provides the necessary assemblies, making certain that the assemblies are specific and unique to each vehicle. Once the parts are loaded correctly into the rack, the supplier will load the racks onto the trailer in sequential order to ensure accurate, just-in-time shipping to the assembly plant. The Insequence system that controls the sequential part delivery process is SPD Pro. The SPD Pro system is a suite of modules that interact to provide a complete standalone sequential part delivery solution that can be integrated with other systems such as ERP or WMS. Each module communicates with the other in a specific order to coordinate a smooth stream of events from the moment the broadcast is received until the final materials are shipped. Because the system is modular in design, it is easily tailored to individual facility requirements. Now we will revisit each aspect of the sequencing process to explain the role of SPD Pro. First off, we have the OEM, which sends a broadcast to the supplier. Each OEM has their own method of sequencing that is specific to them, which means each broadcast is different. Insequence has developed standard interfaces for each of these OEMs so that the supplier can receive, process, and validate the broadcast. Insequence supports almost all major automotive OEMs in North America by providing this interface. Displayed on the screen is a sampling of the many supported OEMs. The module that performs this functionality is the host module. It is the only module within the sequencing suite that is specific to the OEM. The rest of the modules are standard across all supplier facilities. The host receives the broadcast and parses it into a format that is usable by the rest of the SPD Pro modules. This occurs on the server. The next module is the load manager. The host passes the broadcast to the load manager, where they are organized into virtual loads to be distributed to the sequencing cells. If the supplier is manufacturing in sequence, the load manager will organize the broadcast into virtual queues that will create the demand for manufacturing. The load manager also runs on the server. Next, we have the SPD Pro Rack Loading Module, also known as MRL. This module allows the users to assign and capture one or more methodologies per vehicle to airproof the rack loading process. Operators are prompted to scan verify parts as they are loaded sequentially into the correct slot position in the correct rack. After the rack is complete, the user has the option of initiating a second scan verification module called MRA or the Rack Audit. This is used simply to re-verify that the correct parts are loaded into the correct racks. The last module in the SPD Pro suite is known as VOL, or the shipping module. The shipping module manages the shipping process for sequence loads by determining the correct trailer loading pattern and by airproofing the loading process for completed racks. Users will set up truck loading patterns and then scan verify each rack as they are loaded onto the trailer to ensure just-in-time delivery. In order to fully understand the flexibility SPD Pro users experience, we will look further into the rack loading process. One of the most appealing facts about the SPD Pro rack loading module is that it can be set up by the user very quickly and with ease. There are many ways to load a rack that are standard and built into the software. Let's review a few of these options. Racks can be loaded normally or in reverse. This is convenient in situations where perhaps fascias are being loaded into the rack and a certain slot position cannot be accessed due to another fascia being in the way. IntelliPick, or Smart Picking, allows for dynamic sorting of materials. If the user wishes to pick and pack commodities in an order that is neither normal nor reverse, the IntelliPick feature will allow them to assign a unique order to the commodities being picked and loaded into the rack. Within the setup of MRL, there is a section that allows the user to set up what should be scanned, the order in which it should be scanned, and any on-screen prompts for the user. The scanning process allows the user to assign and capture one or more methodologies per vehicle to airproof the rack loading process. Scans may include serial number, order number, SPD sequence, VIN sequence, lot number, part number, scan data, part trace code, vendor part number, slot position, and part alias. Insequence's SPD Pro suite includes a lot of standard functionality and options right out of the box. More than 250 successful implementations has provided us with the ability to develop a very complete software product. This in turn has also created a product that is flexible enough to handle any operation with little to no customization. Some additional functionality and abilities encompassed in SPD Pro include rack load airproofing, loaded rack verification, rack load kitting, label printing, queue sharing, queue depth visibility, part substitution processing, password and/or badge security, electronic Kanban, report creation, multi-language capability, and much, much more. This concludes our overview of the sequential part delivery process in Insequence's SPD Pro sequencing suite. For more information, visit our website at insequence.com.